Hello, you guys. It's so great to have you here. Thank you all for being on this call tonight. We've got a few things to cover first before we dive into our topic, which I'm really excited about because I think all of us, even myself, can benefit from it. But as a way of introduction, I just want to mention that most of us are having a hard month. Raise your hand. You having a hard month? As far as inviting goes. And I just want to take a minute to encourage you to press on and know that you're not alone. Even in like my upline diamond teams, like there's all of these long threads about how March is really hard. And we thought it would be awesome because February went really well for a lot of us. And so in the challenges of like whether you're getting crickets, like Amanda said, or whether you're getting flat out no's, which I'm getting a ton of right now, and I haven't really gotten that before. So in those moments, just remember your why. Remember, all right, so why is what you're inviting to, why does it have value? And what is it that you really want out of this business, and let that motivate you. You know, just like in our workouts, you know, we're not always going to see change really quickly. And in those moments, we just have to remember, all right, why did I start this? Am I feeling better? Like, what are the changes I want to see? So anyway, know that you're not alone. Wish I could like reach out and give each of you a hug to know that I care for you. And I'm so bummed that it's challenging for all of us, that I'm right there with you. So, okay. Another point on that. So I listened to the National Wake Up Call from last week, and just want to mention that if you don't normally listen to the National Wake Up Calls, or if you haven't yet, you really need to. They're just 30 minutes and they're packed with valuable stuff. So it's a different speaker every single week, and they're usually one of the top coaches out there. And they're at a specific time on Mondays that I don't even know the time because I can't listen to it with kids. So I always just go to iTunes and listen to it after the fact. But anyway, really, really, really be there, and they're awesome, and they're really encouraging, and you'll leave like feeling really inspired. But one thing that this gal said last week was just one little quote that stuck out to me. She said, "What you measure, you improve." And I was like, oh, so true. Did you listen to it, Andrea? Because as far as like, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, I was just in the Army. That's kind of what we say. Like, the doers do what the checkers check. So like,
ooh, interesting.
You know, it's like if you check up on yourself in a certain area, like it's so true. I totally agree.
Cool. That's awesome. And it's so true as far as our container system, right? Like, we're measuring it. So we're going to be improving in those ways. And when I stop measuring, it's like, whoa, my proportions got wildly out of control. And it happens quickly. So an encouragement there, like if you're not tracking who you're inviting, you need to begin doing that. Whether it's like, for me, I've got a couple different systems, like one being really simple. So my simple one is I just have my like daily planner, and I just write in there who I invite. Because then when I see I've got a whole week's worth that doesn't have any names on it, like, whew, no wonder I'm not doing well, you know? And then we'll talk about this on like once we get into the meat of this call, but also for follow-ups is huge, because if you invite all of these people one week, you could completely forget the next week. And Facebook messages, if that's where you're inviting, they're just hard to dig through and they're easy to get lost. And so that way you can go back and look. But I highly encourage you to come up with a system that works for you and just track who are you inviting and how often are you inviting. Because once you see it, I think you'll be perhaps surprised, maybe by the lack of inviting, or maybe you'll be encouraged. I don't know, but just some encouragement there. Okay, so third big point is I'm so excited to announce to you guys that Natalie is going to be co-leading our Design to Thrive team. So this is something that she and I talked about a little while back, and you know, it's our goal that each of you, as you grow your coaching teams, as you have business builders on your team, it's our goal that you just like head off. Obviously, you'd still be a part of our core team, but you'd go do your own and lead your own group. It's awesome leadership. It like grows you in ways that you can't even imagine right now, as it certainly has for me. This is not in my comfort zone, but it's been an amazing thing to do. But I've just loved getting to know Natalie and how our visions really line up well, and just the way we work. And she's just seen great success, and I know she has so much to offer on our team. So with that being said, it's still my desire, as I mentioned this on our call like a month ago, it's still my desire for each of you to like act as leaders in our group. But Natalie will be like specifically helping me like as we grow, as we get bigger, to like create trainings and lead calls and things like that. So don't let that like keep you from like continuing to step up and lead wherever and whenever you can. But just know that she's going to be helping lead calls and things like that. So anyway, we're so excited, Natalie. I love having you a part of the group. So hi, Felicia. It's great to see you. I don't think she can hear us yet. That's so funny. Okay. Can you hear us, Felicia? Oh, no, she's busy. That's okay. Hi, girl. Great to see you. Okay, so tonight we're talking about how to invite to our challenge groups, which is a topic that is relevant for all of us. And just as a way of introduction in that, I just totally lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Just some encouragement that as you're inviting, one of the worst things you can do, you ready to hear this? One of the worst things you can do is put your heart out into a post and have it receive not very much interaction, not very much likes, and you say, "Oh, that didn't go well." And then you stop inviting. Yeah. Because that will just kill your credibility, because then people are like, oh, she was doing this thing. Maybe it was just kind of a fad. And now she gave it up or whatever, because that is what it will appear like to people who are following you. And know that like, as we'll talk about the time of day to post and stuff like that, but like with the crazy Facebook algorithms, which I don't even remotely begin to understand, I've heard it said that like only 10% of your Facebook friends or your following will even see a single particular post that you write. Which is crazy, because we put all of this time and effort in like coming up with something creative and all these right words and a good picture, and like, but knowing that only a very select few people will see it. And so that being said, like, it's so important that this is something that we get in the habit of doing regularly, like even 2 to 3 times a week. Though that sounds crazy. It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be something that we spend an hour on, though sometimes it can. But yeah, that's just a little introduction. I'm going to screen share with you all. See if I can figure this out. Natalie and I kind of prep beforehand to make sure we could. Okay. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, we also talked about how when Natalie and I chat, we are going to stop our video, and that's just for our own sake of concentration, so we don't see kind of all the movement and everything going on. And that way, it won't cover up our screen of seeing the PowerPoint either. So anyway, I'm going to stop my video. You'll still be able to hear me. And now I will screen share with you. Hit play. Okay, can you all see my screen? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, inviting to challenge groups. We all want to do this effectively. And this is the cornerstone of what we do as coaches. There's, everything that great that can come out of coaching will come from our challenge groups. So Natalie is going to start off by not teaching us. Yeah, she'll teach us, kind of sharing what the purpose of our challenge groups is. You know all of these things, but we're going to just cover it anyway.
All right.
Take it away.
So I can talk nice and close to the mic and you won't just see my mouth. That's awesome.
And I can hear you well.
Okay. All right. So the purpose of challenge groups. So I actually was a little shocked when I actually just recently, when I signed up a couple, I'm echoing. Am I echoing for other people?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, if everyone else who's not speaking could mute themselves, that will be helpful.
How do we do that?
There should just be a little mute button at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so recently I've had a few clients or challengers contact me after having purchased a challenge pack or been under another coach, and just kind of said to me that, hey, like, oh, you run a challenge group? What's that all about? I purchased a challenge pack from another coach, or DVDs from another coach, and I have never actually been coached, which I found kind of shocking, because to me, that's what I'm so passionate about in this whole coaching thing is the whole like challenge group thing, and just motivating other people to find the same success that I found, and just to encourage them to meet their fitness goals. And that's just like what challenge groups are all about, and to me what coaching is all about. So I've been a little shocked about that's not kind of like what every coach sort of I don't know, I guess coaches for, the reason they coach for. So just going back to the purpose of challenge groups, support and accountability are key. And I always, in my first welcome video, really go over the purpose of, what the challenge group is really all about when I first welcome my challengers in the first week. And I just go over how, when I didn't have any accountability, and I had done a couple of different Beachbody programs in the past. One of them was T25 back in the spring, and I had success with it, but not near enough success as when I had the accountability. So I just really drill that into my challengers, and just really try and stress the importance of that. And when people have a good experience with your challenge group, you have to know that they're going to talk about it. So, just like when we see a good movie, or, like if we watch it, like, the latest episode of The Bachelor on TV, we're going to talk about it with our friends. We're going to, if it's something that, stuck with us, and like, it's something that we're excited about, or something that impacted us, we're going to want to share about it. So that's why challenge groups can be so effective in growing our businesses as well, because not only are you really reaching the challengers that, you're already working with, but they're going to then go and tell other people about their experiences, because they're going to be excited that these changes are happening in their lives. And they're just going to want to tell other people about it. So, and when people are starting to notice that they're being successful in their weight loss journeys, and in their maybe they're just feeling like more energy, and they're noticing differences, their friends are noticing differences in their lives, they're going to ask them, and things are going to get talked about, whether it be in their workplace, or whether it be with just friends casually talking about it. Word's going to get out, and that's also how, we're going to grow our businesses. When you might think that, oh, I have 200 Facebook friends, or, I don't have Instagram. These are things that could, hold me back as far as like growing my business, because you just might think that you just don't have a huge audience to start out with, but word will get out. So, it's just important to keep that in mind as we go forward with challenge groups. So the next point is, can you flip the slide, Allison?
Yes.
Okay, knowing your target market. So when we are inviting people, and Allison's going to talk in a second about mass post invites, and we're also going to talk about personal inviting people. It's really important that we think about who the ideal person that we want to work with is. So there is an actual page in our coach planner in the in the Design to Thrive files. And I'm just going to Ooh, how do I minimize my screen? How do we minimize this without losing? Sorry guys, just one second. Full screen, there we go. Okay. So in our coach planner, there's a section that talks about know your who. So it just gives you a page to outline your ideal customer. So knowing who you want to serve will help you to determine your messaging in your posts. So when you're writing, you need to write like you're talking to that person and, you know, like they're one of your close friends. So there's a bunch of different things to fill out, like know the age target that you're looking for. So for me personally, my goal is kind of to reach out to young moms, and not necessarily moms, but young girls and moms, probably in like the 20 to 35 range. And that's kind of who I've been attracting anyway without really trying to. But when I actually think about it, I just want to, I guess it's just where I am right now. So I find I can, you know, really relate and come up with sort of just ideas and ways to relate to that group, just because that's where I'm at in my life right now. So it's important that you just take a moment to think about the age that you want to target, the income level, education, where do they live, occupation, are they married, do they have children? So just kind of maybe take a moment to look at that page on the coach planner and fill all those things out, just so that you know sort of going forward how you can effectively word your post to reach that specific target audience. And just one second. Yeah, because this is just crucial to just the way that we craft our posts, because and you know it's okay to kind of be targeting different groups of people at different times. So if you want to spend some time targeting moms, you can do a few posts like that, but it doesn't have to always be targeting moms. It can be, targeting younger people. Like, I've kind of had a mixture in my last few challenge groups of people in high school. I've had a couple in high school, a couple in their 20s and 30s, and also I've had like a couple that are like maybe in their 40s, I want to say. So it's okay to have a wide range of, challengers. That's totally fine. And I kind of like the mixture and the kind of the vibe in our groups when there is a good mix. But I think it's just when you're putting out your invites, it's important to just kind of keep in mind who you're targeting in that specific post so that you can reach that audience effectively.
Awesome. Should we go on?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I love that. Okay, so next is something that's super important, and that is building credibility on social media. And this is something that I feel really passionate about because in beginning coaching, I had to view Facebook in a completely different light. I was just sharing such small tidbits of, hey, I like this, I just ate this and whatever, but I wasn't really thinking of like, all right, like who is the me that I'm portraying on social media, and how can I be purposeful in really showing all the different facets of who I am, and as well as providing value to the people who come to my page. So the pictures on the bottom of this is not like to elevate myself and to show how cool I am. That's not my purpose of that. But just to show you so when I put this together the other night, I just went through my top so many posts on Facebook, and this was like a little bit of most of them, just to show some examples of, when you go to your Facebook page, it's so important to look at it with a critical eye of like, all right, let's look at the last 2 days. What does it say about me? What will people think when they come on my page? Will they know that I'm a coach? Will they know that I love fitness? Will they know that I love healthy eating and that I love my children and that I'm a believer? Like all of these specific things. And are the pictures eye-catching? Are they bright and colorful or whatever your style may be? So the first point there in purposeful posts, you can have purpose with a whole variety of different posts. That doesn't mean they have to have like deep meaning every single time, because that will exhaust people. But purpose as far as like, you know, do you want to offer them some humor? Do you want to share a story about something you're struggling with? Could be a lot of different things, but just to think purposefully as you post. Sharing your story bit by bit. Something that I encourage all of you to do is take some time. I think this might also be in your coach planner. I can't remember at the moment, but take some time and write down, however, you know, many pages in a notebook it may take, but write down your story, your Beachbody story, as well as your life story and the pieces of your life that build together to make you who you are. So that when you're posting and when you're being intentional about posting, you can look through your story and be like, all right, so here's this little piece of my story. This is not all of who I am, you know, but it's something that people will really relate to, or a certain sort of person would relate to. And to share that bit by bit, you know, we don't want to go on Facebook and like vomit this entire story of our life. But just give them little pieces, you know, like for example, something that I don't like often share and most people don't know about me is that when I was in high school and college, I struggled with an eating disorder and just disordered view on exercise. And that's really important because I know that other women can relate with that as well. So just like being really intentional about sharing little bits of your story like that. Also sharing parts of your story when there's not an invite attached. So when you get all deep or when you get all purposeful and you always have an invite, whether it's to coaching or to your challenge group, that can just lead to people feeling like you're in it for the sale. And that's the only reason that you want to share. And that's like the very last thing that we want to do. And so always kind of keeping that in mind, like, okay, when can I share something and just have it be for the sake of sharing and for the sake of being vulnerable. Also sharing testimonies as well as before and afters from your challenge group. So this is something that's hugely important in the sense of building credibility that what you're doing really matters and what you're doing is actually providing people with results and with life change. So that's something that you can think about doing every few times a week or, you know, spontaneously. You know, I've got a post ready to do tonight even, just of some words that a challenger in my group said on Sunday when she shared her results. And just, you know, sharing that excitement on your page will catch people's eye of like, oh, wow, like she is really making a difference and it does matter. And then they'll want more information. Okay, so jab, jab, right hook kind of goes with the sharing bit by bit. But, you know, if you think of boxing, you're not going to, obviously I'm not a boxer, but there's a book called Jab, Jab, Right Hook. Just so you know, it's a really great read. But, you know, you're not going to go in the ring and just get that first right hook and pin him down. Like that's not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of little jabs along the way before that hook happens. So the same thing with our posts, you know, in everything that you share, you're giving these little tiny jabs to catch people's attention. And most of those jabs will have nothing to do with Beachbody, right? We don't want to be talking about coaching, about our challenge groups all the time, because that will turn people away and feeling like you're just out for the sale. So all of these kind of little blips. And then when you do an invite, the goal is that like, hey, you caught them because you caught their attention, you got their interest, and they just can't help but join you. And then the last one there, exude confidence and energy in every single post. So important. And that doesn't mean that you have to have everything together or be perfect. But that means that even if you're sharing something that's a struggle, like I included that picture of my like 10-week belly shot, because that's a struggle for me. So I share that because I knew that other women could relate with that. Like I shouldn't be showing at this point in my pregnancy, and I'm kind of bummed about it. Just seeing my body change in that way. And I know that by sharing my struggle, others will also feel open to do the same. So you can still have energy and confidence even when you're sharing things that perhaps are really difficult. And those are really awesome for being authentic. Okay, so next we're going to talk about just getting to some specifics about actually how do you do it? How do you actually invite on social media? So we're going to be talking about personal invites as well as the mass social media invites. So in looking at this screen, I think I'm going to start off by sharing the very last point, which is the iceberg analogy. So I heard another coach talk about this, and it really resonated with me. She said that if you picture an iceberg, and of course I know that, like, oh yeah, in elementary school, we talked about how the iceberg, you can only see the top, and there's all of this under the water that you can't see. And it's so true for inviting, in the sake of your mass social media invites. That's just the teeny tiny little top of the iceberg. And all of the main action and all of the hard work is underneath the water, and you can't see it. Especially in the sense, like, as I mentioned before, only 10% or so of people will actually see your post. And so you can't just rely only on social media invites, because you're going to be missing out on a lot. If you just do a post and no interaction, and so you say, oh, well, no one wants to join me, because that's probably far from the truth. Okay, so the first one there is to be you. I'm just going to kind of breeze through these because they're really practical. So this means that stay true to who you are, stay true to your style. So think like, all right, talk like you. If you write it out, reading it out loud is going to be really beneficial. Does it sound like you? Even read it to, like, your husband or to a good friend. Like, does that sound like your language? And if not, you need to switch it up a little bit so it sounds like, hey, that's Andrea talking, or whatever. And then think about the colors and the style. There's no reason that any of us should fit into a specific mold of inviting, but to really infuse your style into your invites, because that's a big part of who you're going to attract. You want to attract like people. So for example, Natalie loves black and white, and I love that about her. And she incorporates that so well, even in her before and afters. Guess what? They're like monotone, all black and white, which is sweet. And it's so fitting for her brand that she's developing for herself. So, and I know we talked about this in an earlier call, but to use others for inspiration, but don't copy them. If you're just going to copy what someone else did, that might not be attracting your target market. And if that's the vibe that person gets from you, and it's perhaps not true of who you are, they could potentially be disappointed in your challenge groups if they have a different expectation of what it will be like. So definitely find inspiration in other people, but don't copy them. Speak directly to your target market, as Natalie said. So important, give your target market a name. Say, all right, I'm going to name you Matilda, and like write your post like to Matilda, like as if you're having coffee with her and you're wanting to share your heart with her, because that will change the way that you write. And I speak this to myself now as well, because I know that I constantly need that reminder. So using a picture of yourself in your invites. I notice that when I do pictures or do a post of a picture of me, it gets way more likes than pictures of invites that aren't a picture of me. And now, of course, the goal isn't to get likes. It's not a popularity contest. The goal is to get customers and coaches from our posts. But that just goes to show that that they're preferred and people stop and see them. They're eye-catching. So in that photo of you, just to make sure that it has good lighting, make sure it's bright and it's eye-catching. It's not like this dull, dark picture that people are just going to scroll through because it's hard to see you. Okay. So I think that's good on there. The formal and informal, this is also something that I struggle with because I tend to err on the formal side. But don't worry about being too informal. You can have just a really informal post of like, hey, I did this today and I love it. Anyone want to join me? Join my next challenge group. It can be really simple. It doesn't have to be these long paragraphs every single time. But I feel like I always have so much to say, I end up with paragraphs. Not that that's a bad thing, but also know that you have to earn their time. If you're going to have all of these paragraphs, you have to know that people will take time to read what you have to say. So that's really important. So feel free. That's another thing of like, read it out loud and think, am I being too formal? And how can I make that less formal? And how can I add, paragraph breaks? So it's just these little tiny nuggets of information that they're reading at a time. Or how can I add emojis so that so it catches their eye and there's a little interest in there? Um, Also to create urgency. So for that, what I do is I think, all right, so my next challenge group starts April 4th. My cutoff to sign anybody up is the end of this month, so March 31st, to receive their materials on time. And then give yourself a couple days of buffer in case there's anyone who you really want in there who is delaying. So say like, all right, so the cutoff is March 28th. Get your, reserve your spot now so that there's still time. So create that urgency, and also to create a reason of why they should sign up now this month versus like 6 months down the road. Whether it's like, okay, cool, so we're doing this faith and fitness group, and this is something that we're doing for the first time, and this is not a normal monthly thing. Or are you doing a really exciting raffle at the end of the month that they want to be there to participate in? So having a predetermined prize for the end can be really helpful. I did that in my February group, and it was my best month yet. Could be a lot of reasons, but that certainly could have been a piece of it. Everyone loves Lululemon clothes, and it's expensive. So to have a gift card is amazing. I would love a gift card. Can I win my own challenge group? Just kidding. Okay, so provide a call to action at the end. It can be something simple as, like this post if you relate, which is something I did for mine that I just did on Sunday. And then anyone who likes it, if you know that they're not currently a coach, like on our team or something, send them a message. Say, hey girl, thanks for liking my post. I'd love to share with you more. If you're interested, let me know. Or say, leave your message or leave your email for more information, whatever it can be, but give them a call to action. And then we already talked about the last one. So, but just at the bottom, how will anyone join you if you don't regularly invite? People aren't just going to think, oh yeah, that girl, she's doing that one thing, I want to message her and join her. That would be awesome, but it's probably not going to happen. So you need to regularly put yourself out there, and by doing that, you'll gain more confidence, even if you don't get a ton of likes and engagement right away, but that consistency will absolutely pay off. So don't give up. All right, so the next screens, I just have a bunch of examples of ones that were helpful or good ones for me. And this one is just funny to see my wrinkly skin. There it is, big for all of you to see. But this one, so I'm just gonna point out why I think these were effective. So at the beginning, I have a confession. It's ooh, everyone wants to read that, right? So saying all right, so when I did this, I saw these great before and afters, but I figured it couldn't be me because I had twins, but I wanted that so badly. I wanted to prove it to myself. And then I talked about the time that I thought I was told that I looked pregnant. And I know I shared that story with you before, but and then going on to say, there's so much more to being fit and healthy than toned abs, but it is possible with Beachbody's at-home programs. I probably shouldn't have even included Beachbody in there. That was a point that I meant to put on the Mass Social Media Invites page. But don't use Beachbody lingo. That's an important thing. So even something like inviting to our challenge groups, unless you're a coach, you probably don't know what a challenge group is, right? So you could just say hey, I'm leading these 21-day fitness groups for accountability, or you could just name it something of this is your regular language, if you weren't talking to someone who knows what it's like to be a coach. So just a little insert there. But anyway, so then I talk about in March, why is this program different? Because we're gonna do these fun add-ins to focus on our abs, and then kind of talking this is what it means to be in a challenge group. We're going to drink our Shakeology. We're going to work out. All of these things but kind of just spelling it out for people who don't understand. And then after that, I had the call to action. All right, so this one for my February group, it was highly effective. Who knows why? It could have been the invite. Picture of me, only limit is you. There's a little blip on this is what it's like. And then I shared my story. 6 months ago, I was stuck in my bad habits without realizing it. Each day I was doing the same thing, wishing to see change in my body, talked about comfort foods, deciding what to wear in the morning felt like such a process because having twins, my clothes just didn't fit right. I didn't think I could ever feel radiant, confident, and strong again. And so that's something where I think so many women can relate to. And yes, that is my true story. And so I think that captured a lot of attention. And then I say, but then I did this challenge group and I realized these new life-giving habits, and I want everyone to experience this. And then I had the call to action at the end. Here's one from Courtney, who's in TFE. Tired of feeling sick and tired? I think so many people can relate to that. And she shares her story. When I started this 6 months ago, I was so sick of feeling sick and tired. And then, goes and I had a friend reach out to me, and finally I realized enough was enough. I was getting nowhere. And then, what she gained from that. Is this you? Can you relate? I'm here to help. I love that. You have so much potential waiting to be explored, and I want to go there with you. There's so many great things in there. She's pouring her heart out in such a way that I think people just can't help but want to join her. And then these are just a couple that are a little less formal. I was trying to look for some more informal ones. I really learned a lot about myself, you guys, when I went through my Facebook feed and learned how I invite naturally, and the things that I can change from the way that I do it currently. But anyway, the one at the top, I just had it specifically for are you this? Do you want this? Are you looking for this? Do you long to look in the mirror of confidence? So kind of short and sweet there. Courtney's, I love this. She's just doing one of the moves in her Hammer and Chisel that she loved. It's day 41 of 56 in the books. Do you want to start your own fitness plan? Join me. Love that. Nice and simple. And it's not it's not an overwhelming thing, so that's something you could do a couple days even after you did more of a formal post. And I don't think anyone's going to be annoyed with things like that if you do that too often. And then a last call, that's always helpful. If you have 3 days left before people can join you, do a last call post. And that's a really great way to catch people's attention as well. And you can do that in a number of fun, creative ways. All right, so Natalie's going to take it away in talking about personal invites.
Yeah, the dreaded personal invite. No. Okay, so I know personal invites can be scary for a lot of us. And when I first started coaching, I was lucky to have a lot of response through my MASP Facebook posts for my first couple of months. So I'm not going to lie, I did slack on personal messaging and personal inviting for the first bit. And I wish now that I so hadn't, because now that my mass invites aren't doing as amazing, because, I've been posting to the same group of people multiple times in a row. I wish I had started my 5-3-2 so much earlier, because I've really seen the benefits of, connecting with those 5 on a regular basis, because you're opening up doors to then invite those people to your next challenge group. If you're not, you're not necessarily talking to them about Beachbody or coaching or challenge groups right off the bat. But if you're opening up those doors to just connect with people on a regular basis, then you are going to get that opportunity to not feel awkward about inviting those people out later. And I've seen that happen over and over and over again over the last couple months. About two months in. So I just wish I'd started sooner. I have had people, when I've kind of approached them about, or just checked in and said, hey, how's it going lately? I haven't talked to you in a while. And just kind of ask them about their life and so on. Message me back and say, hey, kind of filled me in on their life, and then said, I've noticed all this fitness stuff that you're into. What's that all about? So it does work, you guys, to just put yourself out there and connect with people. They will show interest back in what you're doing if you show interest in them. So personal invites, casual and conversational. Okay, so it's just important that, when we approach people, that we don't want to come across come across as, you know, being salesy. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but it's just important that we, you know, kind of like, I have a couple examples just from today. I put out a mass invite yesterday on Facebook, and I did some before and afters, and I had a good amount of people show some interest. I think before and afters are so powerful, so whenever you can, post them. And so I had a good group of people message me and comment and such, and I had about 4 conversations going today all through the day. And I've kind of changed the way that I've done my personal messaging, you know, back when somebody shows interest, but also when I go to message them in the get-go. When I first started coaching, I would often do the copy paste thing. I didn't have a lot of time in the beginning. I was just trying to like reach as many people as possible. So I would just say, hey, you're interested? Awesome. And copy and paste the whole chunk about, you know, what the challenge groups are all about and the 21-day fix and so on. But I really find that it's so beneficial to really, you know, start off with just, you know, being so casual and just asking them, so be all about them. So ask them about their lives, ask them about what their fitness goals are, ask them about, you know, what, like, find out their why. Why are you interested in my challenge group? Like, what are your goals? Like, how can I help you reach them? And you'll go back and forth. And I went back and forth with those 3 or 4 people today until like late afternoon when I finally sent them the actual like pricing info and so on. And 2 of them are signing up. So the reason for that is that they feel so invested when you've taken the time to really find out about them and who they are and what they want and what they want to accomplish. And they're feeling like you care about them. So then when you give them the pricing info, it doesn't seem like, even though it is, you know, a good chunk, a big investment, it doesn't seem so big to them because they're already so invested in the program that you've described to them. So don't overwhelm them by providing too much too soon, and make it personal and add value to your message. So there's just a couple examples I think that we have here for you. Mm-hmm. Hi Katie, how are you? How was your time with the kids over the March break? I bet you kept busy. I can't believe how fast this month is flying by though. So I'm hosting an online challenge group next month, and I know you're into fitness and taking care of yourself like I am, so I was wondering if you would be interested in joining us. Would you like more details on it? So, you know, that's just a good example of how, you know, you're showing interest in the person who you're contacting. You're asking some other questions to get them chatting back with you, and then you present the question about the challenge group. So not just, you know, just showing interest in the people that you are contacting, and not just, hey, I'm doing a challenge group next month. Do you want to join? They're probably not going to be as receptive to that sort of invite. Hey girl, it's been such a long time since we've connected. How are you? What are you up to these days? Also, you've probably seen my crazy overload of Facebook pics about posting fitness groups each month. I'm reaching out to awesome people like you for my February 8th group. It's an online accountability group that holds us all to our exercise program and healthy eating. We're doing the 21-day fix in Shakeology, and these groups have been a life changer to me. Does this interest you at all? Would be a blast to do together and get to reconnect this way. Absolutely no pressure. Just think you would really love it. Let me know if you'd like more info, but more importantly, want to know how you are and what you're up to these days. So again, just reinforcing that you care about them as a person, and it's not just about selling the product and, you know, getting those points in, although, you know, it's a key part of our business, but we want to just show people genuinely that we care about them, we care about their goals, and yeah, is going to be a lot more effective. So
and I'll jump in just to mention on this last one, because it won't make any sense coming from you, I suppose, since it's such a specific of mine. But I was in Iowa last week, where I grew up, and Indianola is my hometown, and I ran into this girl that I hardly knew from high school. She was immediately like, "Hi, Allison, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't remember your name, but I know you. I just can't remember you." But I knew she was a few years older than me. But with my mom's help, because she was there with me, I learned her name, and then went on and found her on Facebook and said, "Hey, Erica, it was so fun to run into you today. It's been such a nostalgic thing to be back in Indianola. I was thinking of you tonight as I'm putting together my next fitness challenge. It will be a faith and fitness theme, and thought you might love being a part of it. And I'd love to connect with you more through it. Of course, no pressure at all, but let me know if you might be interested in more info. And I usually include that. I don't know if that's like a cop-out of mine, but I really don't want people to feel pressure in that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love that.
Oh, also, gals, if you want to, you're welcome to screenshot that if any of that's helpful, so you don't have to take some crazy notes. So, okay. So Natalie, you already talked about this a little bit, but you're welcome.
I already touched on this. So the interview. So
okay.
Just getting to know their why, hitting on key things. Challenge groups offer accountability, support, nutrition, fitness, success, and fun, and waiting to hear their goals and then send them more info. One important thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning when we were talking about the purpose of challenge groups is, and I know I did a little post on this in Design to Thrive a while back because I found so much success. I have a few awesome coaches that I've collected from past challenge groups, but coaches, it's an awesome way to find new business coaches because you're looking out for just awesome star challenge behavior, like coaches that are or challengers that are being supportive of the other challengers and encouraging each other and encouraging the other challengers, sharing lots. And they've already gotten a taste of what the program's all about, and they're going to be so excited to share it with other people. So I just wanted to add that because I forgot to add that in the beginning.
Cool. I love that. And I'll speak to that for a moment as well. Just so all of you know, we do have a TFE Sneak Peek, a live event happening on Thursday night at 9 p.m. And so it's a really great time to go into our challenge groups and to say, all right, who is acting as a coach? Who is providing encouragement for all the other girls in the group? And then just send them a message and say just that. Say like, hey, I just can't help but think you would be an incredible coach, and here's why. And just be honest with them. I did that with like 3 or 4 gals after we just finished week 1. And it's so cool. One girl responded saying, she's totally not interested in coaching, but I made her day in asking because, and I didn't know this, but she really struggles with self-esteem. And so for me to reach out and to just speak so highly of her in those ways was really empowering and encouraging to her. So, even if people say no, that's okay. And it might not be a no forever. It could just be a no for right now because perhaps they just have too much on their plate or whatever. But anyway, a really great time to invite people to that event coming up on Thursday. Okay, so the last thing, and then we'll wrap up, you guys, is that the fortune is in the follow-up. So important. And I know we talked about this as far as like keeping track of who you're inviting. But if you're missing out big time if you're not following up with them. If you're just letting them slip through, you asked them once, they didn't respond, and you just never check in again, you could be missing out. So I see this happen all the time. I message someone, I don't hear back, so I wait 3 to 4 days, and then I check in again, and I say, hey, I know you're really busy, but I'm just thinking about you today, and just wondering if you had a chance to think about the challenge group or whatever. I guess I just had that example right below on the screen here. So there's an example for you. But I've had a lot of people then be like, oh my gosh, totally, yes, I really want more information. I'm sorry I didn't respond right away. So never feel bad and never feel apologetic for following up because some people just really are busy. Like,
can I add something to that too? Can I just add something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
When I was signing up for my challenge group with Allison back in December, I was one of those people who I think I took like a week and a half to sign up when I said I was going to.
Yep.
So, but it was honestly just pure busyness. Like I really wanted to, and I was so excited to, but I had so much on the go and I forgot like for 4 days. And so I think we often, we do really just feel like so bad about bugging people and pressuring them, but just think about like how you would actually feel. Like life does get busy. We do forget things. Like I forget things all the time. I almost forgot to sign up my kids for soccer last night and it was the last day. So, you do forget. So don't feel like you're being a bug, because I didn't once feel like Allison was being a bug to me. I was just like, oh yeah, girl, I totally forgot. So
cool. That's really helpful. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, and I put the 3 to 4 days after I initially message them. So that could be after an initial message. That could be after a like, hey, I sent you the sign up link. At that point, if they still haven't signed up, you just say like, hey, did you receive the sign up link? Just wanted to make sure it got through to you. And I've had times too that people are like, oh no, I totally didn't get it. And then I realized that I like put their email address in wrong, or it went to their spam folder or whatever. So also never feel bad if people didn't sign up when they were really excited to be like, hey, you haven't yet. How come? Just to make sure it went through. All right. So I'm going to stop the screen share if I can figure out how. Oh, okay. Get this all rolling again without the screen share. How do I do that? Okay, can you guys see me? Can you see me? Am I on video again?
Yep, your video again.
I just can't figure out how to make this bigger to see everybody else, which only matters because it's recording. Weird. Okay, well, that doesn't matter. Okay, so the last thing I realized that I didn't put on my PowerPoint, and I meant to, was answering Amanda's question from the very beginning about when to post your messages or your like mass Facebook invites. And Amanda was probably like, yeah, you didn't get it. You said you would. Okay, so my answer to that is that it's different for every person based on your target market. Is like the best answer I can give. I wish, ooh, my chair almost just tipped over. Okay. I wish I could give a perfect time. Like I wish there was that for myself. But, knowing that, okay, so my target market is moms because that's who I am and that's who I relate with. So moms have a very specific time of day that they're online, very different than people who work 9 to 5. But in general, I would say that, and it'll take a lot of testing, of all, and you never know. It's not like if you share one post and it doesn't get very much like, that doesn't mean it's a bad time. It could be that no one connected with it. It could be that, who knows what. So it's not like just a couple times and you'll know, unfortunately. But in general, bad times to post, Friday night, Saturdays, like all day Saturdays. Good time to post, Sunday night, which is funny because I loved going on Facebook on Sunday and there are like this whole thread of transformations from our team, which is really great. I love that. But yeah, just kind of play around with it is the best answer, which is easier than that. Okay, so after we went through all of that, I know it's 9 o'clock and I want to honor your time, but I want to see if there's any specific questions. How else can we help you?
I had a question about the 532. So like 2 new people to your Facebook each day. How do you guys find the new people? Because I've been doing just like the here's people you might know thing, which is great, but that's not always like people that I'd really know, like they're not people that I'd want.
Yeah, definitely. That's challenging. I'm not great at that, Amanda. It's an ideal that we're supposed to do, and I don't do it well, unfortunately. But it is so important as our businesses grow because, we're going to run out of our warm market, and that's a scary thing. And who knows, because I'm having a hard month, maybe I'm there, and that like really frightens me. But you can do that through other people. So you might have seen.
Just lift the latch. Sorry, my husband's trying to break into the bedroom.
Oh dear. You might have seen Michelle's post recently. So Michelle's a rock star at SC because she's diligent. She's so diligent every single day. She's inviting 3 people. I'm always inspired by her because I'm not that diligent, but I want to be. But I love what she said about inviting her other telling her other challengers that there's an incentive to invite friends to come join them for the next group, like giving them part of her commission on that. So that's a good way of expanding your network because if you then get their friends involved, then their friends can get involved and it can really, go from there. That's one way, but then also to just be meeting people in daily life. Whether you're at like the park with your kids and you meet somebody like I did today. I should have gotten her contact info. Actually, I shouldn't have gotten her contact info. I should have just gone on Facebook and said like, hey, I would love to hang out with you and get to know you more. Can I friend you on Facebook? That's what I should have done. You know, and then because I genuinely want to connect with her, but then she'll also be able to see what I'm doing. And she was a new mom. She had a 2-week-old baby that she was carrying around with 3 other children. I was like, you're at the park? I want to be like you. You're amazing.
Yeah.
So like,
I want to be your friend.
I know, truly. I really, truly missed an opportunity. So I love that you asked because it reminds me to regularly do that. It's a good question.
Go away.
I have a question, and it's more
Staring at me.
what what would you do if you have like right now, like most of the challenge groups I notice is mostly girls, which is fine. But I have had a couple of like guy friends that are like, especially when the 22 hardcore program came out, and I have a lot of friends in the military, and they were like, oh, I really want to try this, and then all this, and I'm like, okay, I'll send you an invite. But then I'm like, most of the challenge groups are mostly girls, and I not so much of how the guys will feel, but how the girls will feel. These guys will be like, you know, seeing all these transformations and all. So should I be looking into running 2 groups, or like can I just do one?
That's a great question. I just finally realized that I didn't hit stop screen share, which is funny. I've been sharing my screen that whole time with you. I'm very sorry. It's a great question. I've had a couple instances like that as well. I sold a challenge pack to a guy and I gave him options. I said like, hey, I'd love to connect you with some men if you're interested in an accountability group. Otherwise, you're welcome to just do your own thing and I'll check with you and see how you're doing. He, like that individual instance, like he didn't want a challenge group. You know, guys aren't into it as much as girls are, and not to say that they wouldn't be. So then the other thing, I saw that Melissa, I believe, posted today in TFE asking if there is a men's challenge group available, and that's a good option too, because there are a few guy leaders in TFE. You know, and then another option, just depending on if, Natalia, if you're leading groups, I don't know if you've branched out on your own yet or if you're still with Natalie, but if you are leading your own groups and it's kind of a smaller group, like let's say you've got 3 guys and 5 girls, you know, or something like that, they wouldn't be as outnumbered, and I think you can easily make that work. But if it's like 20 girls and 2 guys, like, I don't think that's positive for anybody.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm looking into April maybe, and maybe connecting with Nicole and maybe doing a group together between 2 of us. But yeah, like I said, like I have 2 guys and then maybe the interest in more. And I don't want to be like, well, I got 2 girls and 2 guys, and I don't know where it's like 5 guys and 2 girls, and I don't want to scare these 2 girls away. So
Sure. Yeah.
And then another question about the Facebook invites. I had actually a bit of interest, and then, you know, there's a back and forth, and then text back and forth, and then when I showed them the prize, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait," and then I tried to follow up a couple of weeks later, like, you know, like at the end of the month is coming up, so maybe if it's in a budget, and then it's like, no, or they have found another coach, and I'm like, is this like this person offering like another sale that I don't know about? So it has happened to me twice that these 2 people have been 2 other coaches.
Yeah, that's craziness.
Yeah, so like, how do I do that? Like, how do I follow up with these people? So
yeah. Yeah, well, first of all, I'm so sorry. Like, I know that must be really discouraging to know they went with a different coach. Like, I feel like if I did that, I just wouldn't tell you. You know, like, I think that's really inconsiderate that they even told you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to work with those people anyway, girl. But good thing they did it. That's how I feel. But to answer your question as far as the price, I get that all the time. All the time. And it's legit. Like, when the 21-day fix is not on promotion, it's harder to sell. Is the way it is.
Yeah.
So if I know that, and maybe that's why like everyone in the whole company is struggling right now.
Yeah, that probably is.
Put it back on sale.
I know. Everyone does that.
Extend the sale, extend it.
Oh, so one thing that you can do there, if you know that someone is really, really needing this and wanting it, and that they're willing to even just like make some sacrifices to make it work, there is the policy that you can gift them $20, up to $20, but it has to be a specific card. So that's recently changed. So it can't be like, hey, I'll just like give you the $20, since it used to be on promo. So what I've been telling people recently is like, hey, I know that the last time I talked to you or whatever, you could say last month it was on promo for $140 and now it's back up to the normal $160. Like if that would make a big difference for you, like I'm happy to help out with that $20. And then if they say, yeah, totally, then say, awesome. Where do you most frequently shop, or where do you get groceries? I'd love to buy you a gift card. So it's illegal now. This is so important. It's illegal to like PayPal them $20. And that used to be okay in the company. And you'll get like dinged big time for that. So, but that's something that
it's illegal to what, the $20?
I'm sorry.
What's illegal?
Oh, if you say, hey, I'll PayPal you back the $20, or if you're in the same town as that person, say, hey, I'll give you $20. Like, you know, since we don't have the power to lower our prices, but if we really want to help out, all we can do is a maximum of $20 for a specific gift card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are like the flash sales? Because I've seen people do that.
What do you mean?
It seems like they put it on sale like just themselves.
Oh. I don't think
They called it like a flash sale.
I don't know.
Guys, I have an important call coming in. Sorry, it's like
That's okay.
a challenger that was supposed to message or been trying to call me like 3 times that I had an appointment with.
Awesome, girl. You go chat with her.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks for helping out tonight, Natalie. Have a good call. See ya. I don't know about that, Amanda. We don't have the power to do that on our own.
Okay.
They could have been doing something illegally. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to see the exact post. But
Okay.
I wish we could. I wish we could just like take a cut in our commission, you know, especially when someone really wants it, but it's hard. Any other questions? Those are good questions.
I just have one.
Okay.
And it's about those like sassy pictures that you guys always do, you know, like, I don't know, they're not even like even when you use like the SC board or whatever, they just look so awesome and professional. What do you use?
Mm-hmm. Good
True
question.
story.
True story. Okay, so I have found, so it's hard that you're asking me, Andrea, because my background is that I'm a professional photographer, which means that I use Photoshop and normal people.
Photoshop, okay.
But not for everything.
Yeah. Right.
Not for everything. I find it's really helpful to sit at my computer and to make something when possible, when I have like kid-free moments and I can do that. And then I can make it look more professional. But when I don't have those moments, there's awesome apps to use. Or if you don't have Photoshop, there's great apps to use. And I don't even have my phone in this room to like double check that I'm giving you the right information. But just thinking of what those apps are. I mean, I know you might be able to help me. There's one called, I'm just blanking. I might have to
message me later or just like post it later.
I'll post it later. My mind is blank right now.
Yeah, because like I have one, but it sucks.
Okay, yeah, and some of them just aren't very user-friendly. There's not very many options. I use a few of them because there's just different things that I like about each one of them.
Yeah.
I'll share that in the group after the call.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. You're welcome.
Hey, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Man, I'm just really bad with this techie stuff. So since I'm so new at this, I do have someone who I was talking to, and they're interested in signing up. But how will I know when they sign up? Because you said to follow up with them in 3 days if they haven't signed up right away. So how do I know?
Great question. I wish we got an email when they signed up. That would make our lives so much easier. We like petition Beachbody for that. So what I always say in like, once I send them the sign up information, I just say like, hey, I just sent you over the link. Please let me know when you complete it so that I can send you a welcome email.
Okay.
So I say that, that doesn't mean they always do it, however.
Okay.
You request it. So then the only way for us to know is to check our Coach Online office.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it doesn't show up right away either. So if they say that they did and you don't see it, that could just mean it has this little delay. So there's that tricky part too.
Okay.
Good question.
Thanks.
Cool. All right. Well, since it's already 9:15 or 10:15 for you gals who don't live in the States, I'm going to close us in prayer. And this is just something that, you know, I don't know where your guys' faith backgrounds are, but it's really important to me to have this team be Christ-centered. And so if that makes you uncomfortable or whatever, feel free to hop off. There's no judgment at all. But I'm going to pray for us and then we'll say goodnight. Cool? Okay. Lord Jesus, I just am humbled by this group of women in your creativity and purpose in bringing us all together. And I'm so thankful for all of the strengths and gifts and talents and backgrounds that each one of us comes from. And I just specifically want to lift these women up to you as we are talking about inviting people to join us. And I pray that you would infuse us with your boldness and your courage because we have something so valuable that goes far deeper and far beyond just our physical bodies. Because we know that when we change on the outside, there's always change on the inside that comes along with it. So Lord, give all of these women, and myself included, confidence and a sense of being unapologetic in what we're inviting to. And I pray, Lord, that above all, that you would give us power of influence for your sake, that what we're doing could truly be impactful for your kingdom, and not just building our own little kingdoms of our Beachbody coach teams here on this earth, because we know that that's not eternal, and that's not glorifying you unless it has an eternal purpose. And so pray that you would just be with us, go before us, inspire us as far as to who to invite, and show us favor when we do. Let us run this race with passion, and to not let us get discouraged when we receive no's, but to press on. Thank you again for these women, and just pray a special blessing on them tonight. In your name, amen. All right. Good night. Thank you for staying on for such a long call. It's great to see all of you. I'm so thankful for you. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.